Level 1, Hangaround. You've been around the club for months. You fixed a full patch's bike at your shop and didn't charge him. Word got around. Now you show up to their runs on your Sportster and you ride at the back of the pack because that's where you belong. Nobody uses your name. A patched member walks past you and points at a cooler. You hand him a beer. You don't speak unless spoken to. You go home smelling like cigarette smoke and somebody else's leather. Your girlfriend asks why you're doing this. You don't have a clean answer. Thursday nights, you're outside the clubhouse door in the rain, checking IDs of men you don't know. A prospect walks past you with a case of Budweiser and doesn't look up. You are below a prospect. You are nobody. You keep showing up. Level 2, Associate. A full patch puts his name on yours. He walks you into church and says, "This one's with me." Now you're his. If you ever cooperate with a cop, if you ever breathe a word about what you've seen, he's the one who answers for it. The club digs into your past. They call the guys from your high school. They find your ex-girlfriend. They find the detective whose card you took after a bar fight in 2019 and never called. Anything dirty. One arrest where you talked, a cousin in law enforcement you never mentioned, and you're out. You pass. 2 weeks later, a full patch hands you a duffel bag in the parking lot of a gas station outside Reno. Hold this. Don't open it. You take it. You drive it 600 miles and hand it to a man in a bar who doesn't say hello. You don't ask what was inside. A week later, the patched member buys you a steak. Level 3. Prospect. The chapter votes and hands you a bottom rocker with your state on it. No death head, no top rocker. You are provisional. A full patch calls you at 2:14 in the morning. His bike is broken down on an on-ramp outside Fresno. You're there in 40 minutes. You change a battery on the shoulder while semis blow past you at 80. You don't complain. Another member tells you to guard the clubhouse while the chapter goes on a run. You sit on a folding chair for 6 hours with a shotgun across your lap. You do not sleep. You eat last at every barbecue. You speak last in every room. At a rally in Sturgis, a stranger at a bar insults your mother to test you. You hold it. You don't swing. Some prospects hold for 6 months. Some hold for 5 years. There is no timeline. If you quit, you hand it all back. Every patch, every pin. The men who called you brother yesterday will not take your call tomorrow. Level 4, Full patch member. The vote has to be unanimous. One no and you're done. They all say yes. The president hands you the vest. Top rocker, death head, bottom rocker. You have 9 days to get the winged skull inked across your back. The needle runs for 5 hours. Your skin burns for a week. Men who made you eat standing up for 2 years are hugging you now, calling you brother. You sit in church for the first time. Doors close. Phones drop into a box by the door. You hear everything. The finances, the rivalries, the numbers nobody writes down. Cops start pulling you over just for wearing the patch. Your boss at the shop looks at you different. Old friends from high school stop returning texts. None of it matters. In this room, these men would bleed for you, and you'd bleed for them. That's the trade. Level 5, Nomad. Some guys belong to a chapter. You don't. Your bottom rocker says Nomad. A chapter in Albuquerque needs backup on a rival beef. You're on the 40 before dawn. You ride 900 miles in a day and roll into a clubhouse where nobody knows your face. You handle the problem. You leave. You sleep in roadside motels. You eat at diners that don't ask questions. You change your oil in a truck stop parking lot at midnight. No address, no regular crew. Your home is your bike and whatever couch somebody puts you on. Regional officers know your name. Local presidents don't outrank you. You put 12,000 miles on the bike in your first year as a nomad. You're 41 years old and you've never been lonelier or more free. Level 6, Sergeant at Arms. Violence has a manager. That's you now. Before every meeting, you sweep the room. You run a detector across the table. You check the vents. You pat down anyone you don't recognize. At the annual party, 3 rival patches walk in uninvited. You walk up with 2 prospects and a baseball bat, and you escort them out. No scene. No phones come out. Inside the club, you handle the discipline. A brother disrespects the president in church. You take him to the parking lot, and you explain. You don't raise your voice. You don't have to. A prospect gets caught lying on his background check. You handle it in a garage at 3 a.m. Next morning, he's gone. Nobody asks where. You carry the club's weapons to every event. You know where every piece is and whose hand it's in. The president tells you what needs doing. You do it. It ages you 10 years and 5. Level 7, Road Captain. The annual run is 400 miles, 60 bikes, 4 states. You planned every mile. 2 weeks before the run, you rode the route alone. You found gas stations that can handle 60 bikes at once. You marked the speed traps. You noted the towns where the sheriff hates patches. On the day, you ride right behind the president. If a hazard comes up, you signal the pack. A member breaks down at mile 140. The whole formation pulls over until he's running again. Nobody gets left. The road captain doesn't get the glory. Nobody toasts you at the end of the weekend. But every man who got home in one piece, that's your work. You don't talk about it. You start planning next year's. Level 8, Vice President. You sit to the president's right. When he speaks, you support him. If you disagree, you disagree behind closed doors, never in church. When he's not in the room, you are him. A member gets picked up at a DUI checkpoint at 3:47 a.m. Our phone rings first. A Banditos patch shows up at a brother's funeral uninvited. You walk out to meet him. Why? You manage the officers. You manage the books. You settle the small beefs before they reach the president's desk. You're the heir. Every man in the chapter knows it. That means ambitious members are watching you, and the president is watching you too. Someone whispers to him that you're getting too comfortable. You have to be loyal enough to stay and strong enough to lead. One slip, and you're back on the floor. Level 9. Chapter President. The vote comes through unanimous. The gavel is yours. You sit at the head of the table during church. Every man in the room looks at you before he speaks. Every decision runs through you. Who gets patched? Who gets cut? Which rival gets a handshake? Which rival gets a response? You let the officers argue. You shape the room. A member can't make rent. You make a call, and it's handled. A prospect gets jumped outside a bar. You organize the response before sunrise. The feds are building something. Your lawyer starts calling more often. Your phone is tapped. Your house is watched. Every cop in the county knows your bike. Your personal life cracks. Your wife stops asking where you're going. One Thursday night, your sergeant-at-arms pulls you aside before church. We've got a problem. A hangaround was spotted in a parking lot with a man in a government-issue Ford. The hangaround hasn't been seen since. Your blood cools. You pick up the gavel. You don't mention it in the meeting. Not yet. You need to know how deep it goes first. Level 10. National President. You sit above every chapter in the country. Dozens of chapters, hundreds of members. The FBI, the ATF, the DEA all know your name by sight. And the thing with the hangaround in the parking lot, it wasn't just your chapter. The feds had eyes on 3 chapters across 2 states. You find out on a Tuesday morning at 5:47 when 12 SUVs roll up to 4 clubhouses at the same time. Doors come off hinges. Members dragged out in boxer shorts. Wives screaming. News helicopters already in the air. Your lawyer calls you at 6:12. RICO charges, conspiracy, racketeering, warrants for 14 men. Your name on every document. You sit in a back office. The phone won't stop ringing. Chapter presidents from across the country. They all want to know what to do. You answer every call. You give the same 3 instructions. Say nothing. Call your lawyer. Destroy nothing. There is no retirement from this life. You ride until you can't ride anymore, until they lock you up, or until they carry you out. You started as a nobody in a parking lot, handing beers to men who wouldn't look at you. You pick up the phone again. Another panicked voice. You take a breath. You steady your voice. And you deal with it, because that's what you do. That's what you've always done.